Welcome. Today we're going to discuss brackets. The benefits to the bracket, then the upgrade to the Bison, and then the pros and cons to an aluminum. The aluminum setup one with the rubber tops. First of all, you buy an annual press because you're doing custom stuff, you're doing specialty stuff, you're doing sleeves, you're doing shorts, you're doing pants, you're doing t-shirts, you're doing polos, you're doing hoodies, you're doing zippers. There's so much you can do with a manual press. It's a very versatile machine. I have two presses in my shop that are both manual. I do not have an automatic because automatics are to pump out volume, and usually you're just pumping out t-shirts. I do so much stuff, and for me it's just the return on investment's not there for an automatic yet. You can buy automatic to make your job easy if you just want to do one thing, but I do a lot of stuff, so I am a manual press. And I do have a Hopkins BWM. I'll probably have a video also in the future why I chose this press. Of all 30 years of my printing, and I've worked on probably every manual press, and the Hopkins BWM was my choice. And so we'll go through that later. But the brackets. So a bracket is going to be, you know, most people have these brackets because you can customize with these. They're very versatile. You can put different tops on them. You can do so much with them. Your support area, like this bracket here, is a 5x6, so that is your support. Your bond to your board is going to be a screw. So a screw is going to be your bond. So if that screw comes loose in your board, depends what kind of board you use, what kind of board it is, you can get some movement. So a fix that can be useful for you is O-rings. When you put O-ring on your screws, they go in the hole, they fill that void, and you don't get as much movement. And they'll kind of help you out so you don't get as much wiggle in if your boards do come loose. So that's a quick fix to that. Now when you do flash dry them, they become a hot spot. This is a good example. This came with a press I bought to upgrade, and so this is a good teachable moment. So teachable moment, this one is your brackets absorb heat. So that's your hot spot. So you can see right here, it's isolated. That is where the bracket is on this one. And what happens is you get warp. This is your deflectionary area, your warp. It's not warped up top. It's not warped at the bottom. It's just where that bracket is. So when you're doing a half-tone job, you get a heavy deposit here, light. It's not going to be uniform. You can get registration issues. And if you're doing, I do a lot of detail work, it's just going to mess up your print there in the middle. And an upgrade to this is going to be plywood, and we'll discuss that here shortly. But you can see this is bolted down, and I still got movement on it. I could probably rip it off here if I wanted to, because your whole bond is 4 screws. The bracket that this one has, it has these. It has this little threaded end. It's chewing into the paint, chewing into that, which is not good. It's not giving support. The Bison Brackets, you can see in here, they've got flat feet. So what it does is it gives you a better bond, better support. It's not chewing into your paint, and it's going to be solid to your arm. And so the Bison Platen, for example, really quick. So the Bison Platen it's a bracket bolted to the base plate. Press, you load it left or right, it's going to be centered with your arm. So when you put your board on it, you're going to be completely centered as you're visually looking at it, and it is solid. It is, when you tighten this down, it's not going anywhere. I've got a video out there where I dropped a case of shirts on my press, and it doesn't mess with it. If I were to drop a case of shirts on this one, I'm going to rip that board right off. But plywood, real quick. This is a board, printing for 30 years, and plywood's always been in play. This is 3/4 inch cabinet grade plywood, vertically. This one's 12 years old, vertically, still flat. Plywood tends to get the high corners, get a little warpage that way. It gives you, you can see this is only a bracket board. It gives you more layers to bite into. So when you're screwing into this stuff, you're screwing into sawdust basically and glue. This gives you these engineered layers. Gives you a better support. So I've been using this for a long time. You'll hear people say, "Oh, you can't print on plywood because you can't print 4-color process or simulated process." I've been doing that for years. This was printed on probably that board right there. This is a 48 line screen. I think it's maybe 50. I did 5 different designs, perfect registration, great job on these. And then on the Bison one, we just recently did hoodies. We did hoodies and t-shirts. This is a 13.5 by 16 print. I've got a video on this one. Perfect registration, no deflection in the print, no shadowing. Great. I think the Bison system really helped that out. We'll cover that here in a minute. But yeah, these plywood boards, if you're going to, this alone is an upgrade to these. And for some reason, there's something about this engineered layers that this helps distribute the heat. Even being a bracket board, don't have any damage where the bracket was at. This distributes the heat differently and minimizes the hot spot. So just this plywood alone going that way is going to be a huge upgrade to these. So on these boards, on the Bison base plate, the benefit to it is it's got holes at the bottom, top, and middle. And what it does is it pulls that board down flat. I can put this one back on, I can put this one here and put it in production. It's going to pull it down flat. So these are great, and this aluminum also helps to distribute heat. So you'll have the heat go through your board, and they don't get hot to your hands. So like on your aluminum, I've seen some of the aluminum boards, they have heat pads because you're going from rubber to aluminum, and that aluminum gets so hot. If it's hot, so hot that you have to have hand pads, what's it going to do to your printing? It's going to really impact your printing. These don't get that hot. So this is a plywood. This is 14.5 by 19. It's a universal size. Most of your presses come with a 16 or 18 inch. Too big. Unless you're doing an adult large and up, there's no need to have that large. The largest I go is a 14.5 by 19. I started printing 30 years ago, and our boards were 14 by 20. Our automatics, our manuals, 14 by 20. Because your prints are usually never over 12 or 13 inches wide, and your length of a print, you're looking at a manual screen, you might get 17 inches. There's no need to go, so long on some of these press. And the 23 by 31 frames, you can get a longer print. That's where I do my 22 inch prints, but it's more length, it's not the width. So they're long, and I can cover more shirt sizes from youth on up. And then we do have the smaller ones. I think they're 10 inch. They go down to when you're doing fashion shirts, and usually you just swap them out during the run. I have a setup video showing that, but that is a good size. And you notice on some of the aluminum boards, you don't get those options. You got 12 inch or 16 inch or 18 inch. I don't think those are right. I think the Bison system gives you the ability to customize. You cut what's right for you. If you want 16, you want 15, you need 14 or 13, you can just cut what you want. If you want longer. We offer 2 different sizes. This is 8.5 by 12, and I've got the 12 by 17. So it gives you the option. This size here will work for the same size board. It's not an issue. I still don't get as much deflection. It's 3/4 inch wood. I've got my foundation in the middle. I even use this one on this large, so I don't use it often, but that's what I use on that one. And if I use it all the time, yeah, I'd probably put a bigger one on it. But this is my 16 by 20, so I print 22 inch prints on this one. These are long prints, so I want to cover that. All right, so that's the Bison Platen. It is solid. It's not going anywhere. These are nothing. It's one with your press. Versus their bracket boards, and just for these, cut what you want. You can see here, I have a zipper board. It's on the large one because I'm doing hoodies. I don't want to mess them up. This is my seam board, and I have. Why did I just put it this one? So I also have this is my sleeve board, the long board. It's got a long end on it, and what it does is it helps deflection. So when I'm doing longer prints, I've got it set up for old sleeve prints. There's just a bunch. The boards I have that, there's a lot of options for these, running them long and stuff. So aluminum. If you bought the aluminum boards, rubber tops, you're limited to your customization because you're buying your 16-inch boards. I mean, how are you doing your sleeves? How are you doing your shorts? How are you doing your youth? Unless you invest in new sets, and those are crazy expensive. On this system, all it is new board tops. So how are you doing seam boards on aluminum platen? What if your customer comes and says, hey, I want some side seam plates, or hey, I want to do my zippers. You're limited to what they offer. You don't have that in this system. You can do whatever. You can have whatever you make what you want to eat, and you really customize. So that's a real benefit to this. So hopefully that was helpful. And but yeah, check out the Bison Platen and see if that'll work for you. And if you're still using the brackets, I'm going to recommend try the plywood. You'll see a difference. And check and change your size out. If you got a 16-inch board, your standard squeegee is a 14-inch. Try the 14 and a half. Try 14. Go cut you some plywood boards, and see how that changes your efficiency in your shop. So hopefully this was helpful. And yeah, check out my other videos. I got setup videos. I got a lot of videos out there. So hopefully some will be helpful for you, and you can you're in this business to make money. So hopefully helpful. Thanks.